Hey, how you going? It's Iski here. What do you think of my beautiful little pond? My very overgrown pond. I have to get in there and clean that out soon. Some really nice purple lily flowers coming up. These get all sorts of little native bees crawling around in them. It's really nice. But yeah, anyway, that's not what this video is about. Let's check out this dryer. I thought we'd do another dryer video. I got given this dryer yesterday. Someone was about to dump it, who was about to buy a machine from me, and they said, "Do you want it?" And I went, "Bloody oath, bring it over." And they did. It's a new style. It's probably worth 650 bucks. I reckon they paid for it. Excellent dryer. They sell very fast, these ones. If I open this up, first thing I do when I go to test the machine is open it up and turn the drum inside. So if I grab one of these fins, give it a turn anyway. Oh, doesn't that sound great? Sounds terrible. And I reckon what is happening, that sound sounds very much like the fan which is on the other side of this corner. I reckon the fans come off, or at least come very loose, incredibly loose. So I guess our job is to actually open up this machine, get to the fan, and see if we can either reseat it, replace it, just fix it. In fact, if we come over here, this is basically what you see inside that dryer. There's not much there. This here, and there is a drum that sits off that round lip there. Now what happens is the belt comes basically in the center of the dryer, and it goes over an idler and then over this motor. So the motor turns and it turns the drum, obviously. Okay, so what you'll find is on the other side of this motor, you got another bloody long axle or whatever you bloody call it, and the fan sits on there, and it's normally held in by just a nut and a lock washer. They come loose all the time. I just think there's got to be a better way of connecting the fans to these motors. But yeah, so on the other side, yeah, that's how it's connected. Just a tiny little nut, but you'll see. But check. What we're going to have to do is basically undo that, screw that, screw that, screw that, screw, and there's another one over there. We may even have to take the capacitor off to get to the screws, depending on how it's configured. But as far as operation difficulty-wise, it's one of the more difficult fixes. It definitely is one of the more difficult fixes. But having said that, it's a dryer. They're not overly difficult to fix. The most difficult thing to fix is this entire replacement. It's a big job. Still, I can do it in probably under half an hour easily. But let's get to work. We'll take that dryer up on my deck and we'll start pulling it apart and fixing it, eh? Okay, let's do this. We've got a dryer testing at the moment, a 5 kilogram Simpson dryer, which, by the way, is identical in every way to the Electrolux and Westinghouse, apart from the interface, which that is obviously a automatic computerized one, whereas this are the better manual timer ones. They rarely ever die. But these, however, die all the time. So, after that, I'm going to find somewhere to set you up. We're going to put this on its front, and we are going to start undoing the back. Okay, Throw down old Bluey. What's your view like? That looks okay, but I'll quickly show you what I'm going to be undoing. So we're going to be taking these outer perimeter screws off. They run all the way around the perimeter there. You're going to be taking this Phillips head out. We'll pull this out for a start. Charming. I'll stick that just there. And then we are going to take the outer perimeter screws for this plastic cover. These were always metal, but they've changed them. The newer ones have plastic backs. They have crappy plastic computers that you can't change the direction of. You know how you used to be able to, if you wanted to put a dryer on the wall and turn it upside down, you could do that, and you could even turn the interface around so it didn't look, the writing didn't look upside down. You can't do it with these new ones anymore. No, 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 no. So anyway, let's stop complaining and start fixing. Let me just see if I can set you up here. What's your view like? I can't even see, the camera's so high. How's that look? Maybe if I think that's as much as it's going to angle, but if I push the dryer out here, how's that look? Awesome. We'll do the Phillips head first. Oh, Captain Fantastic. Looks like we're going to be competing with someone doing the lawn. By the way, if you want to make this easy for yourself, like I have, get yourself these are hex screws. Just get yourself a 1/4 inch hex bit. It will change your life. It's changed mine at least. Okay, we want to remove these covers. Now this here is the bearing nut. We just want to take that nut off and the washers that are underneath. Now we want to lift this back part of the back up, and we want to slide this power cable out like that. Slide this out like that. Now underneath here there is a cable going into the heater. You just want to unplug that, and there you go. Let's have a look. Let's have a bit of a visual inspection, eh? Now, get rid of some of this stuff. Put that over there. But I like to quickly just put my hands on the idler. That feels really good. Feels very nice. So it's definitely the fan. Oops, my camera just broke. Let me fix you up. Okay, it looked like I was trying to bring put my gimbal on too much of an angle there, so I'll be careful. Plus, it's really hot today. So, it looks like it's spacking out again. So I'm just going to sit you here and see if I can angle you down, see what you can see. Alright, I think you can see the motor there. So what we want to do now is take this drum out. Now taking the drum out is pretty easy. If you can see, hopefully you can see, there is a spring. Can you see that? This spring here. You just want to, it's hooked around this bottom of the machine. Release that and that will release the tension. Then let's just lift up the belt, take the belt off. And I like to just feel the belt for any burrs or fraying, see if it's on its way out. But no, this is awesome, perfect. Okay, so let's just throw that over there. Okay, so basically what we want to do, let's just quickly take the idler off, which is perfect. We'll put that over here. Basically, we want to take that motor out, like I said. So we want to undo these screws. One, there's another one just there. There's one down there. There's one. Basically, you have to take this, I'm pretty sure you have to take this capacitor out just to get your bit down there and take the screw off. Basically, you want to take the screw off that, and you want to take these screws off the back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm pretty sure you have to do that one. Actually, no, I don't think you do. I don't think we need to take this Phillips head out. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks, mate. You're a legend. Alright. You got to make a living, I guess. So, let's pull this drum out. Just lift it up. Now these bits, some of these screws, actually it's a lot easier now that the drum's not in. Let's have a look. So check this out. So we want to undo this one there, which is behind that spring, that one, that one, that one, that one, and there's one underneath there. The only way to get to the one that's underneath here, as well, I think as well as this one, is if you use this kind of extension. This is what I use. I stick this in a drill. It's not meant for a drill, but I just put the teeth over the top of that, hold it in, and just pop those over and undo them like that. It's just so much easier, especially for this. Hang on, you can't even see what I'm doing. Especially for this one in the corner over here, because you're not going to be able to get to the one in the corner without something like that. And putting the screw back in is even more interesting, because you have to use a little bit of sticky tape, double-sided tape, put it in there, put the screw in, then lower it back down. It's the only way you can do it, as far as I'm aware. But I have to go and find my drill. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we're on the back of the machine, bottom of the machine I should say. Take these 3 off. 1, 2, 3. Put them somewhere. Then I'll just flip you over here again. And there goes the lawnmower. Oh, that's why. I forgot. These are actually slightly bigger. I think these are 7mm. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure these are 7mm. They look identical to the 1/4 inches. I'm not sure why they went 7mm. So I'm going to have to use my bit that I just showed you. Just give me a second, I'll set up my drill. Done. Okay, so let's get that on. Maybe go in reverse. And we also have to take this thermostat out, right? Just pop that. Now, you're going to have to disconnect this plug here that's going to the motor. There's a little tab on the top of it, and I don't know if you can see that, but you can see it, it's disconnected now. There's half of it. Okay, so I need to get, I think it's a 13 or a 14 mil spanner, or something to take this nut off. That's holding the capacitor in. Let's have a look, I'll tell you in a second, and that is 13 mil. So you probably have to stick that there and hold the capacitor because it's going to turn. Am I tightening it? I might be tightening that. No, I think I was loosening it. There we go, it's actually loose. So there you go, that's taken the nut off the capacitor. Can you guys see? That's what we got. So let's just throw that nut back on the capacitor so we don't lose it. Come on. Now we have access to that screw down there. That's the last one of these screws is right in this corner, but we have to drop our extension bit through this hole, right? Can you see that hole? Let me have a look. The only way to access the last screw is through this hole, which is why we had to take that capacitor out. So, let's me grab my drill, slide that in, get it over the screw, and there you go. Just let it sit there. And you can just use your hands if you want to use your hands to pick it out. I'll just leave it there. Okay, so everything is free. So we should be able to just lift this entire thing out. Let's have a go. There we go. Let's put you here. And let's set you guys up here. Okay, so let's pull you back a bit. Let's have a look, see what's going on with this fan. Oh, look at that. Never seen that before. It's different. Check it out. It's completely snapped. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. So let me actually get a little spanner and we'll actually undo this nut first and then we'll have a look at this. Oh, why don't I have more my tools set up ready to go? Okay. Man, I don't know what causes that to happen. Okay. There we go, that should be, there we go. What causes that? Wow. That's crazy. In fact, it looks like part of it is actually broken off. Looks like part of that's broken off. Yeah, no wonder it's making such a loud noise. But anyway, I'd say that the other little part is in the ducting, the air ducting. Maybe it's been blown out of the machine. But we'll have a bit of a shake around and see what we can come up with. But I'm going to have to go and find another one of these. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that ever. Alright, back in a sec. Okay, so here we go. I just found another one. This came out of another machine that had some other kind of problem. And it's perfect. So that's what it should look like. It should look exactly like that. And not like that. So I'm not sure what the hell's going on with this. I don't know what you have to do to a machine to make that happen, but yeah, I don't know. But let's get rid of that. So you can actually see here this hole is actually keyed. So this part of your, I don't know what you call this thing. Is it? I know it's got a name, but I call it the axle. So that basically will slide on over that, right? But before we put that on, we want to put this on here. That slides in there. Just like that. You've got your washer here. Now we want to slide this fan back over the axle. Just like that. And then you get your large washer that came off. Put that there. You got your lock washer, you put that there, and then you can put your nut on there. Make sure it's nice and tight. In fact, I think I'm going to go and grab some vice grips, because you have to hold the other end of this over here where my hand is with some vice grips, otherwise when you do tighten this it just keeps turning. So I'm just going to find some vice grips. Alright, so we'll use some of these. There we go. And we can tighten this now. Come on. Alright. Tight. Nice and tight. Good to me. Beautiful. So now, I can't believe that, that's crazy. So now we just put it back together. Sometimes, you know, depending on how old your dryer is, it might be worthwhile actually replacing the capacitor while it's at this stage, but just make sure that you don't replace it now. Make sure you put the motor back in there and do all of these screws that we took off. You have to do those screws on, because you can't put the capacitor in there and then do it. So put the capacitor in last. But this machine is pretty new, so I'm just going to keep this capacitor in there. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's drop it back in. Alright, so just remember when you're putting this in, this lip here has to go underneath this plastic edge. There we go. Make sure all the plugs are out of the way. There you go. Okay, so now the thing that would probably confuse a lot of people, and I know this because it confuses me, used to confuse me a lot, is this piece here, which you probably go, where the hell did this come from? Right? I've done that so many times, I'm quite used to it now. This here, this is basically used to hold the motor down, so you can see this screw hole here. That lines up with, oh, I don't think you can see it, that lines up with that screw hole there. So basically what we need to do, you can see it's got that angle piece there. We need to, hopefully you can see this, this basically just sits in there like that, pushes down and gets pushed in like that. That's it. That's all it is. And then you just screw it in. So I'm going to sink some of these screws to hold the motor down now, the ones that I can get to at least. Oh wow, the mower man's gone. Gee, that was fast. One. We'll do this one. Two. Do this one. Three. And that one there. Okay. Now while I remember, make sure you put this thermostat back in here. That's what is used to tell if your clothes are dry. Alright. So now we have to put that difficult one back in that corner down there, right? Right. This is the one I hate. But let's think. Okay. How are we going to show you this? Listen, I'll show you what I do. I'll show you exactly what I do. Give me a second, I'm just finding some tape. Wonder if I can use some masking tape. Masking tape is a little bit big, but we might get it done with some masking tape. So I just get a bit of tape. Just double it over itself like that. This might be too thick actually. I think it is going to be too thick. See if it goes inside there. It's kind of in there. It might be okay. Good if this was a magnetic bit, but it's not. I'm not that fancy. But you can get these really. I use some tape, special sticky tape that to make corsetry and some of my leather goods. Now, what we want to do is see if we can drop this down that hole and line it up with the hole underneath, and I can't definitely not do that with two hands. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, am I good or what? How good is that? Perfect. Got it first time. Hardly ever get it first time. So there we go. We got a motor in. Oh, hang on. Have we done the back screws? I don't think we've done the back screws, have we? No, we haven't. Let's just raise you up. Remember these ones? 1, 2, and the one right up the top there. 3. Just get my driver. All these Milwaukee tools that I'm using, by the way, are basically from the dump. How good is that? Even the batteries came from the dump. So, 1, 2. Oh, where are we? 3. Going through that long, skinny flat bar that we had to put in. Alright, so this motor should be in good, and if we were to turn the motor now, we should hear no ugly noise. How good is that? Beautiful. Alright, so now what we have to do is we got to stick this capacitor back under through this hole. But first I think we are going to plug this plug back together. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, hopefully you can. Come on, there we go, in. Can you see that? That plug down there is back together. Now we want to get that capacitor back up there, but it looks like that nut that I had on there has come off. Here it is. Okay, let's get this and pop it back through this little hole. I don't know why it's so tight. I have a feeling that the threads are crossed on this. Hang on, let me just have a look at this. I have a feeling the thread was crossed or something. Oh, there you go, that's beautiful. Alright, so I was doing it wrong. Alright, get in there. Yeah, there we go. Let's go slowly this time. Oh. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. On. Get your, what was it? A 13mm ratchet. This is a 14. Where did I put the 13? Damn, where did I put the 13? Here we go. So I love these things. This one's broken. The pin came out, so I'm using a bit of just a cable tie to hold it together. I just love the way you can angle them. It just makes life so much easier. So let's actually start tightening. That's in good. Perfect. Alright, so now we're going to drop the bowl back in. We're going to put the belt on. In fact, where is the spring? Oh, here we go. Remember, this is the spring. We need that. It will put you there. Okay, bowl time. Remember the idler? So the idler has to go on next. Oh, by the way, when you're putting the idler on, there's a certain side that has to face down, and that is, that looks like a bit of graphite or something. That little washer thing has to face downwards, not that side, okay? Pop that on. Belt time. Actually, how am I going to do this? I don't know. Let me just have a look at this. Can you guys see what I'm doing if I put you here? Okay. So we'll get our spring handy. We'll just stick that there like that. Grab your belt and just throw your belt over the drum. Keep a bit of tension so it doesn't slide all the way down. If you actually have a look on the drum, you'll see the dust. There's a dust mark where the belt was before. So all we want to do is pretty simple. Just see how the motor moves now? Just pull the motor back so that the idler is as far to this side as you can. Drop the belt over the top of the teeth of that axle. Like that. Okay, so that's basically how it is supposed to go. Now you grab your tension spring, and you will actually see what we're going to do now is just pull the motor, turn the motor so that it takes the tension like that. See what I did? There we go, it's taking the tension. There's a little hole here where this spring is supposed to hook onto. And I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing, but the spring goes down and hooks onto the base of the machine like that. But listen, if you're going to do this, just take photos. Take a lot of photos when you're actually doing it, okay? Now this part is very important as well. Now my belt isn't really close. It's kind of close to the dust mark I was telling you about. So what I'm going to do is slowly turn it in one direction, the bowl. And we're just going to see if it can seat itself nicely. Just turn it slowly in one direction a few times, and then you go the other direction as well, because things tend to change when you go the other direction. That looks good. Looks very nice. And that's it. That's basically it. Now we can put it all back together. Well, we have been putting it back together, but we can put the back on. All right. Remember when we put the back on, see that's the plug that we had to undo when we were taking the back off. That has to go into, are you in shot? That has to go into this heater part there. So if I'm to put this, oh, listen, this is a bit dirty. You got a lot of dust and everything there, so I'm just going to take this into the yard now and just give it a good brush down, okay? As soon as I can find my brush. I just had my brush. Okay, nice and clean. I also like to just turn this manually with my finger, just to make sure the bearing doesn't feel crunchy, and that feels really good. Okay, so let's put the back on. First of all, we'll grab this wire and we will plug it into the heater. Sorry, a bit difficult to show you, but you get the idea. Then we will get this part of the power cord and slide this back into place. Looks like that. And then I don't actually try to get the axle of the drum through this bearing hole yet. I actually try to get this exhaust ducting to marry up with the exhaust ducting in the machine first. I find that's a lot easier to do. Push that down and then lift this up and just push it so that you can get that axle into place just like that. There you go. Perfect. And you grab your driver and all your screws. In fact, what I might quickly do is just put a screw in each corner and we will turn it on, see if it works. We know it's going to work. To be honest, we didn't even turn this on before we tried to do this fix. Who knows, the computer might be dead, but highly unlikely. So, put you over here. There we go. I only want to turn it on for two seconds. I wouldn't normally plug it into the same circuit as this other dryer that's already on because we'll probably trip, but it normally takes Oh, that's a good sign. It normally takes a few seconds, a couple of minutes of turning before it'll trip, so I think we're safe. So let's just press play. Oh, how good is that? Perfect. Like a new one. Awesome. Now we can button her up. Put it back on its face. You guys back over here. Angle you down. And go crazy. Oh, wait. Forgot something. Forgot to put the nut back on the bearing. This here, we have to put the nut back on there, okay? So we'll just grab our washers. The lock nut, the lock washer I should say. Looks like it's about 13 mil. Yep. Hold the drum so it doesn't turn. Not a hell of a lot, that's all you need to do. Okay, now we can put all those screws in the back. Clean all of this crap out of here. We'll stick that back on. And last but not least, we'll get our Phillips head on our driver, and we will put that Phillips head that's holding this power cord in. And that's it. Let's just stop that other dryer and we'll play this one for a little while. Let's play. There we go. Fixed it. Okay, so we'll just run this for a few minutes and I'll stop it. I'll go and put some washing on, because when you're I'll definitely test this 2 or 3 times. When you're testing a dryer, like I've always said, you test it with wet washing, because it's a whole different story when you put wet washing in as opposed to dry washing, which is very light. So I'll go and put some washing on now, and we'll test it out a bit later, but that's a winner. Awesome. We fixed it, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.